A very good evening. You're watching The Big Debate with me, Gauri Dwivedi. Well, amidst the high tensions that India and Pakistan has been witnessing for a while now, there will be an official invite that will go from New Delhi. In fact, it will be an invitation to all government or four member countries of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO, when it hosts the summit later this year. The development comes amidst tensions between India and Pakistan, especially in the wake of abrogation of Article 370 that happened on 5th of August 2019. And since then, Imran Khan has been a very, not just a strident critique of what Prime Minister Modi has been doing, but more importantly has been almost hinting at a nuclear war against India, war ranting from global platforms no less than the United Nations. Will there be a reset in the India-Pakistan relations? SCO, remember, is a China-driven initiative. Or what happens next as far as the Indo-Pak equation from here on could be the big issues that we will be discussing in this debate this Friday evening. Joining me in the studio, Mamta Kale representing the BJP, Sumit, political analyst, Deshratan Nigam, political analyst in the studio, and Ambassador Achal Malhotra joining us as well on the broadcast. Ambassador Malhotra, is my voice reaching you, sir? Okay, but before I come to you, Ambassador Malhotra, let me just start with the opening comments from my panelists here. Mr. Nigam, let me start with you and then go around the table. That a lot seems to have happened as far as the India-Pak relations are concerned. You have a Pakistani Prime Minister who's almost hinting at waging a nuclear war. You have a Pakistani Prime Minister whose position has become untenable when it comes to India, given all that he has said. And now you will have a Pakistani Prime Minister who will get an invitation, a formal invitation, to attend an SCO summit, which, by the way, is led by China, and he can at no point of time hope to topple the apple cart there.
See, the fact is, since it's an international summit,
yes,
and Pakistan being a part of it is to be invited. But that's a formality. I think India must utilize this opportunity to expose Pakistan in an international summit and also expose China, because China is the only savior in the world right now for Pakistan. And whether it is UN or any other summit, you see China comes in between, followed by Turkey and Malaysia. So therefore, right now, what we have to do is to invite them, that is a formality, and to use this forum to effectively tell the world the true nature of Pakistan.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to ask this to the panelists. Mamta, what are the odds of Imran Khan, or, well, you never know, his successor, actually coming and attending this event?
See, as Deshratan rightly said, that it is a formality, and since India is hosting this summit for the first time, so we have to invite all 8 members. That is a formality, and we have to follow the standing operating procedures. So they have to come. Now it depends on Imran Khan whether he comes or he sends his representative. Having said that, I also want to say that Imran Khan or China, none of them should be taking it as a shake hand with them. No, our stands between India and Pakistan, whatever strategies and stands are concerned, that is very clear. So those stands are
personal. So there's no thaw in the relations. That's what you're saying. No thaw in the relations. No. This is formality that has to be done.
Because we have to follow the standing operating procedures. And since we are hosting it for the first time, we have to invite all of them. All 8 members.
Okay.
So no big deal about it actually.
Sumit, you want to come in there?
I think, Gauriji, first of all, it's what ma'am rightly said, it's a formality, so we have to follow the protocol. But the point of, the bone of contention is that China and Pakistan coming together. And these are the two players who are known for their mischief whenever they meet, and they might use this platform to bring up the agenda of their own. We have to be prepared for that. And our message has to be very clear. Look, this summit is about that. 8 members, and there are, I think, 4 observing members which are also there, which need to be invited, maybe 12 odd people. So we have to send a message very clearly. This summit is about that, and nothing beyond that will be entertained by India in this forum. So that message has to go to all the 12 members who are participating, including China and Pakistan. If you want to bring it up, then we are kind of not interested in this summit, and that is how it has to be. And I don't think Imran Khan will come up. He might say Qureshi or somebody else for this summit, but
Qureshi is the face to come and
he doesn't have, the event. But Qureshi is equally poker face. Sorry.
No, so he has to do it by protocol. But the fact is, and Mr. Nigam, I come back and ask this: that has Imran Khan's position become absolutely untenable when it comes to India? You know, just look recently, a couple of days back itself at the United Nations Security Council, yet another message from the other P5 members, barring China, that no, this is India's internal matter. At no point of time will this be discussed. All this makes Imran Khan's position untenable, because this is exactly what his job was. This was his KRA, and he's failed miserably.
In fact, at every forum, whether it was United Nations Security Council, where not even a formal statement was issued, where even after China's veto, the matter could have been, taken up. There are process where even if China votes, out of 15 in the Security Council, if 9 or 10 people vote, the matter can still be taken up. So China also realizes. India has also pointed out to China that the Karakoram highway passes through India's Kashmir, and therefore they also know that they are, in terms of international law or both domestic law, they are on wrong foot. So that also. And I think here the Indian diplomacy has to play a very serious part of giving China an alternative. China's main concern is economic. They need an access to Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea. And that is where I think Pakistan is playing them. If some kind of an alternative economic offer is made, and that has to be studied, I am not saying just make an offer, have a studied opinion on this. And I am sure China, realizing India's potential, India's market and India's growing stature, one of the biggest defense forces in the world. Therefore, I think China is going to listen to you.
But Mamta, then this is a question that I'm going to come to you before I get in Ambassador Malhotra, which is that every time you move one step forward with China, you move 2 steps backward. You had the Wuhan spirit, but after that, when the Mahabalipuram meeting happened, it was Chennai Connect that happened. Since then, things haven't gone smoothly between India and China.
See, as far as the relationship between India and China is concerned, India has been very clear on certain issues, and we really cannot go back on those points. Point number one. Point number two, we all know that China's stand and statement about Pakistan. So, even India has made it very clear on various forums that if you try and interfere or arm twisters to accommodate Pakistan, we are not going to do that. And nobody on international platform, nobody has supported Imran Khan on this. So India, the Prime Minister of India, our foreign policies are very clear, crystal clear. So, we really have to be very clear on that.
Ambassador Malhotra, let me ask you this. What do you expect out of this invitation? Do you expect acceptance of the invitation by Imran Khan, him coming in or sending a deputy? And more importantly, will that actually lead to some sort of a reset in the Indo-Pak relations?
Well, as some of our other panelists have already pointed out, we are hosting this summit for the first ever time, and the protocol requires that we invite all the members and also observers and all the dialogue partners. But that doesn't mean that we are giving any message or indication that we are in a mood to reset our relations with Pakistan. Now, between now and the summit, how things pan out may also influence, Pakistan's decision to come or not come. But the best case scenario is that Imran Khan decides to come and attend the meeting, and in between does certain things which create an environment for a little bit of partial resumption of dialogue. But at the same time, since we have been blocking SAARC and we have humiliated Pakistan on so many occasions, and we have isolated Pakistan internationally, so Imran Khan may decide not to come and send his foreign minister. And even foreign minister may, walk out of the proceedings when our prime minister is speaking. So anything is possible, because between now and, the actual date of the summit, there is still some more time. And it's quite possible also that China and Russia may persuade Pakistan to behave, and between themselves they also decide that let India, Pakistan, the problems may not vitiate the atmosphere at the SCO, because the SCO's emphasis is entirely different. It's on security mainly, terrorism, anti-terrorism. And if you remember that even our Prime Minister, when he spoke last time at the Bishkek summit, he did speak about terrorism, but he never named Pakistan.
Yes.
You know, but by implication, he did, you know, make a call for sort of, you know, preventing, taking measures to prevent some states promoting terrorism or financing terrorism, etc., etc. So even we may not be interested in, you know, our own summit getting into India-Pakistan imbroglio. So let's wait. I mean, there is plenty of time between now and then.
Okay.
And till I don't think India has any intention to go change its policy that talks and you know terror can will
then
not go together.
let me ask you this,
This is a stated policy, and unless Pakistan really shows.
Ambassador Malhotra, then, you know, the
Yeah.
fact is Pakistan has been saying all along that they want a pre-August, pre-5th of August 2019 setting for anything to happen. They're very clear about it, right? And that is something that's non-negotiable for India. So obviously this itself is a deal breaker.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if they continue to insist on that, they should realize they are asking for the moon, and which we are not going to agree to at all. And so it's up to them in that case whether to attend or not. But I don't think, I mean, influenced by Russia and China, they probably might come. They may go through the ritual and might, you know, even make few noises while they are here during the summit. But we will handle it as it comes through. We have ample of you know, counter narratives, counter arguments, and they already know that they are anti-India on Kashmir particularly. All their narratives have fallen flat.
Okay, yes.
Whether it's at the UN Security Council, even China has failed. You know, it's a shame for China. It's not only a failure for Pakistan, it's also China's failure. That China has failed more than once to get this issue highlighted at the UN Security Council.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think you know, the Pakistan asking for a pre-5th August scenario is totally ruled out.
Absolutely,
I mean,
yes.
Absolutely, it's a non-negotiable, and we are not going to, you know, change our position even by millimeters or fractions of millimeters.
Absolutely, yes. Mr.
As
Nigam.
far as this issue is
Pakistan's
concerned.
stated policy is that Kashmir is their part. And therefore, in the garb of saying they want pre-5th August, which they are saying they want pre-1947.
Yes.
And when they actually, Kashmir became a part of India through instrument of accession. So their entire game plan for this is to actually keep the status of Jammu and Kashmir in their own eyes and their own people as an independent kind of a entity. That is the actual roadmap. Why else Pakistan should say anything when we change our own constitution?
Right.
Why should they, you know, affect the, you know, talk about the amendments in our constitution? So the game plan is actually to keep the Kashmir pot boiling, so its status remains slightly different from other states, and then therefore then impose the agenda of Kashmir's independence,
Right.
which is their actual agenda. Here we are very clear. It is our matter, and it is irreversible now.
Absolutely, yes.
I think, Gauri, the point here is that, you see, we have isolated Pakistan to a great extent. Let's not use this event, because this is a China event. So Pakistan has to turn up. बहुत पैसे लिए China से. They have to turn up. And the Russians are also there to influence us. So they will come up, somebody will come here. We have been successful in isolating the Pakistan. Let's not use this event or give them a platform wherein even they bring up Kashmir. Because our communication should be very clear. There are 4 parameters which we should draw. Any discussion on this summit is going to be within these 4 parameters.
Okay.
India-Pakistan issue should not even come up. You know, because what is in Pakistan's interest is to use this opportunity to bring up this issue, because Pakistan...
No, I'll tell you why Pakistan cannot bring this up, because, you know, I was going through the SCO rules, and when it was formed in 2001 itself, it said, and I'm sure Ambassador Malhotra will say more on that and highlight more on that, it said no bilateral agenda will come up for the organization to consider, and that of course means that the SCO has to focus on big ticket larger issues that impacts all member states and not something that is bilateral in nature and could of course hijack the entire summit. But you know, then let me ask this to the panel, that what can we really expect out of this meeting? Because, you know, we like it or we not, the fact is Imran Khan or his deputy next in command is going to come, And yes, there will be, of course, some sort of expectations that will be riding, and there will be some sort of behind the scenes workings as well that will take place. What can we really expect, Mamta, out of this meeting?
See, I mean, whoever comes, whether Imran Khan comes or he sends someone, it is his prerogative.
Or who knows, his successor. You never know. Yes.
So
knowing
anybody can
Pakistani
come.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. But, you know, and they may try. They may try to
will
bring
try.
these topics of abrogation of 370 and 35A or Balakot for that matter. But they will be isolated. As you correctly mentioned just now, Gauri, that you know this summit doesn't talk about, or the aim and objective of this summit is not to talk about Bharat and Pakistan. And as far as India is concerned, we are very clear that this is a bilateral issue. Till Pakistan doesn't stop funding the terror, or they keep funding terror, no talks will take place.
Okay.
So if they want to talk, not on this platform of course, but otherwise if they want to initiate any sort of talk with India, they will have to stop funding terrorism.
Ambassador Malhotra, what can we really expect out of this meeting between the two sides?
Yeah. Well, Gauri, the meeting is has a much larger agenda than the India-Pakistan. You know, we are concerned over the possibility of, you know, Pakistan coming and spoiling the summit. But fact of the matter is, we have already in the last summit, our Prime Minister had, under the acronym HEALTH, you know, identified 6 or 7 areas which we would like all the member states to put emphasis upon, which is health, which is economic development, which is terrorism-free society, which is about connectivity, and you know, we'll take stock of what all has happened in the past on all these issues, and the other, you know, ultimately SCO is focused more on security, and you know, also development is there, but within the SCO there is a that mechanism, RATS, also for handling the terrorism related issues.
It's so ironic that it has Pakistan as a member country.
Will be reviewed, and a future, you know, and a roadmap will be, you know, devised for the next 1 year. So Pakistan, India is, by the way, you know, on we appear concerned because Pakistan is habitual of trying to raise this issue at every possible you know,
they have done it
opportunity.
Yes.
And therefore we seem to be a little more concerned, but SCO is much bigger and much larger. Much larger
perspective. All right, yes, Sumit, and then we get Mr.
I think,
Nigam. Yes.
Gauri, the SCO this time around will take a call. How do they want to deal with Pakistan? Because if they bring it up, it's a show by the China, and they are the guys who are driving it, and they have their economic objectives and aspirations out of this whole thing. So if Pakistan brings up Kashmir and brings up other things, which in my opinion 99% they will try to do, because they are habitual offenders, because Pakistan exists on hatred of India, and they want to keep this Kashmir bogey somehow on. Because in the heart of hearts, they knows it is done and dusted, because what is pending is POK.
Yes.
Practically that's the only thing. With Kashmir mein to baat honi nahi. We have to go and take on POK. Imran Khan is worried about that, but he will use this theatre, and you know, he will try to make a political theatre out of it, give a few media bites. You might see a few tweets here and there. But now SCO countries have to take a call. Do you want to have this, you know, kiddo in the group or not? Because anyway, economically, militarily, they are done, they are dusted. Kya hai unke paas? Economy is in shambles. What can they contribute to SCO? That's a bigger question. What all of us should be asking that.
But you know, the reason why,
yeah, they do. They have one thing.
They have one thing. China driven.
Yeah, they have one thing, Gauri.
It's a strategic location. Yes.
Yeah, they have one thing, that is IT, international terrorism. Number 1 exporter of IT. So if you want an international terrorism exporter to be in SCO, that's a call all the people other have to take.
Okay, yes, Mr. Nigam, yes.
See, that's the hypocrisy of the entire situation. This country would never have been a part of the entire setup if China was not there. And China is looking at, as I rightly pointed out, as a strategic location, as you rightly pointed out, to an access to the sea and to exploit the natural resources, and also to control its territory, China's ultimate aim. And that is why you have noticed there have been attacks on Chinese engineers and the people, because the local people have started resenting China's presence.
There's been a backlash.
And it has happened in Africa, it has happened in Myanmar, it has happened in various places where the countries are put into debt trap. And Pakistan is already in a debt trap. It has to return, I think, $54 billion dollars in 10, 15 years.
Yes.
Maybe the time is much more.
Yes.
So they have no choice, no option, and they have to follow the diktats of China, and that is where India's foreign policy has to be very dexterous.
Okay.
And has to look into the fact as to how to handle China, because China's relationship with the country is purely on resource exploitation, economic exploitation,
Yes.
and since their economy is export heavy and export oriented,
Okay.
it's getting heated and coming down, so they require tentacles more. So this is India's response has to be specific to China, and Pakistan has to be sidelined there.
Ambassador Malhotra, as we wrap this up, then, let me ask you this, that on 1st of January, the Prime Minister picked up the phone and wished and greeted all neighboring countries, for New Year's, barring Pakistan, barring Imran Khan. That is the extent of how much the terrorism that Pakistan exports to India has damaged the India-Pak relations, and that's where they are right now, at a complete nadir. How do you then see Imran Khan or his deputy coming to India at a time when the relations have hit such a low, such a nadir?
Well, look, if they come, they will not be coming on a bilateral visit. They will not be coming in the frame of any bilateral interaction. And this invitation is not to the Prime Minister of Pakistan. It's an invitation to a member of the SCO. To Pakistan in its capacity as one of the 8 members of the SCO. Therefore, there is absolutely no indication or indicator from our side that we want to resume a dialogue. As you rightly pointed out, by not talking to, Imran Khan on the 1st of January itself, we have given an indication that in 2020,
Yes.
there is absolutely no departure in our policies as far as Pakistan is concerned. And so long as there is a, quantifiable, palpable, verifiable action on the part of Pakistan
Yes.
to ensure, to assure us that they are acting against anti-India terrorism emanating from their soil, there is absolutely no prospect in the given moment, unless the government of India for some unknown reason decides to make a very, very big departure. Very unlikely under the current scenario. So Pakistan, if it comes, it will come as a member of the SCO, and as I said, between now and then, if there is a palpable improvement, if there are signs of, some intention, good intention on the part of Pakistan to rein in that, which again is very, very unlikely, we might, look at the beginning of a process of resetting the relations. Otherwise, they'll come. If they come, they will come as member of the SCO, participate in the deliberation, sign the joint declaration, and go back.
All right, that is what it's going to be. Of course, still some time away when that summit really takes place. Can one expect Pakistan to mend its ways? Well, I can stick my neck out and say no, but you never say never on that front. Completely out of time. Thanks much to our panelists and to our viewers for watching this edition of The Big Debate.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.